Hi everyone, this is Neel Raithatha, consultant audiologist and director of iCLEARscope. Thank you for joining me in my latest video using the iCLEARscope endoscope. I actually referenced this procedure in yesterday's video, and it's of a patient who attends, I think, every 2 years with occluding dead skin, and it's normally also lining the entire ear canal and eardrum. And I thought we got a bit lucky because when I first examined the ear, we had this occluding section of soft dead skin and wax, and I thought, okay, I could just correct that out. Now we're purposely trying to avoid microsuction because this patient has got a bit of sound sensitivity, so wherever possible, if we're able to, we try and remove this manually. And I thought I was doing well up until this point, because now you can see it's not just some occluding dead skin and wax that they have near the entrance of the ear, which I already removed. They've got the skin as previously that's lining the entire ear canal and eardrum. So once more, trying to avoid suction. I'm going to have to revert to suction because this, even with forceps, just wasn't coming away. And this is a good example as to sometimes why I don't use forceps, where you read some of the comments from some of the viewers and it says, oh, you don't know what you're doing, why don't you use forceps or another instrument? And this is a good example because I suspect some of these viewers, when they're watching the video and you're seeing a piece of skin like this, you think, well, why don't you just grab it with forceps? Well, I've been doing this for about 10, 15 years now, and experience tells us that forceps is not always, or other instruments is not always the best. And you can see with the forceps, I'm really pulling it. I've got a good grip actually. It's not like some of the skin will tear off, but I've actually got a decent grip and I'm pulling. I'm trying to kind of peel this off the eardrum, and it is, some of it is peeling off the eardrum in the distance, but it's very adhesive, this, extremely adhesive. And I'm also at this stage trying to avoid drops. Now the patient did pre-oil their ears, but I haven't used any during the procedure yet because I'm still persisting with the forceps. And then I'm going to go to microsuction. But when you put a bit of oil in the ear or any drops, any liquid in the ear will increase the sound levels when you suction. So I initially attempted to suction it without any oil, but it just wasn't coming away. And because the skin is very adhesive, as we're peeling it without any oil, there's a bit of blistering there, which is just the blood vessels at the base of the ear canal dilated. It's not, we didn't make contact with the canal, and you'll see that. And then eventually I put some drops in. I used a very small suction tip to minimize noise levels. And with dead skin anyway, you want to avoid the standard 14 gauge where possible, again, because you're more likely to get clarineting. So I described clarineting in yesterday's video. Just a quick summary. So when you suction dead skin, the skin violently flaps at the end of the suction tip, and that emits a very loud, high frequency squeal. We call it clarineting because the skin is literally vibrating at intense frequency. And it's not only loud for the patient, it's loud for the clinician performing the procedure. So I'm still using the forceps there, but half the eardrum is peeled, but the other half, and there's a lot on the ear canal still. So this is when I explain to the patient, look, forceps is just not cutting the mustard here. And we used the suction. I kept asking the patient if they were okay, and they were fine. This patient is quite a nervous patient. They do travel a fair distance to visit me every couple of years. It might be more frequent than that, actually, maybe it's every year. They've had some bad experiences in the past with previous attempts at removing their wax and dead skin. And but she was fine, she stayed really still. And you can see at the base there, as we're peeling the skin off the floor of the ear canals, there's just a bit of blistering occurring. And that will settle very quickly. The patient didn't feel anything. I showed the patient afterwards on the video. And I think I'm going to just put some drops in a moment. So this patient's got a brand new ear canal. And if that skin wasn't causing an issue for the patient, so if they felt, oh, I could hear much better, then perhaps would have maybe left it and allowed that skin to try and migrate it out itself because the skin in front of it's been removed. But the patient could still feel that she wasn't hearing so well. So, and that's where, as a clinician, you kind of weigh the risk-benefit ratio. And obviously the patient came because she couldn't hear, and not being able to hear. It's very debilitating for her. So we want to try and remove the skin. So what the skin does on the eardrum, it just thickens it. So it's not as mobile, it doesn't vibrate in response to sound waves. So when sound waves hit the eardrum vibrates. Behind the eardrum, you've got 3 middle ear bones, the ossicles. The hammer bone, the first bone, is connected to the eardrum, and the last bone, the stapes, also known as a stirrup, that's connected to the organ of hearing. And then you've got the incus, or the anvil, as we were taught it at school, in between the hammer and stirrup. So sounds hit the eardrum vibrates, and these vibrations are transmitted through the 3 ossicles. It's almost like a pendulum effect. Because the 3 ossicles are connected, they swing backwards and forwards, and that mechanical movement causes fluid, inner ear fluid, within the organ of hearing, the cochlea, to then travel in waves. So it creates a hydraulic action. And the fluid in the cochlea then travels in waves, and the wavelength of this fluid is dependent upon the frequency of sound. And then also contained within the organ of hearing, you've got sensory outer hair cells. So when this fluid travels in waves, it causes the hair cells to shear to one side and contract. And when it does, an action potential is created. So basically a spark of electricity, if you like. And then that's transmitted to the brain via the auditory nerve, the 8th cranial nerve, also known as the cochlear-vestibular nerve. And it goes to the brain, where we then process it as sound. So if the eardrum's thickened, it's not going to vibrate as much, less sound waves being transferred and via the ossicles to the cochlea, then to the brain. So this is this last bit, and it's almost like an invisible layer. And we're just in the anterior recess here. We got the oil in there from before. The ear canal is quite narrow, so it's not much. So when I'm grabbing onto the skin, it's not much wriggle room to kind of peel it from right to left, but we do manage. Just trying to get a suction grip first. But this skin kept flexing back. It was so tough. So it's, if it was a loose flap of skin, it will kind of come away, but this just wanted to. It's almost like it had muscle memory, if you like. Every time I'm suctioning it, it's fighting back. You can see it's almost relaxing back into its original position. But eventually we succeed. Again, so I've lost a bit of the suction grip there, and it's just going back. We're really close to the bone on the right hand side, the bony part of the ear canal, and we want to avoid that. It's really sensitive. Unless you've had someone poke in your ears and make contact with the bony part of the ear canal, it may not realise how sensitive the bone is. I've had trauma to my ear canal before. I compare it to when you bang your shin against the side of a door or a chair. It's that really acute, sharp pain. So I managed to peel that away. It's a lot more than I anticipated. And we're just slowly going to come away. So they've got quite a narrow isthmus as the ear canal approaches towards the eardrum. And most ear canals are like this. They do narrow about 0.5 centimetre away from the eardrum, and it widens again. But this patient's really, really narrow. Well, I hope you enjoyed that video, guys. Take care, keep well, speak soon. Bye.